Welcome to Pen Positive Book Review. This is Vinod Narayan. If you're someone like me, you would have spent a lot of time in bookstores. Of course, when bookstores used to be there. When bookstores started closing in my town, I started going to the internet and browsing book websites, but it did not feel the same. So I ended up spending a lot of time in the library just browsing books. Whenever I go to the library, I spend some time in the new books section. I go there and I read the titles, and sometimes there's one title. One title just stands out. It sparks your curiosity. Last time when I went, I picked up this book called Unsafe Thinking by Jonah Sachs. How to be nimble and bold when you need it most. And when I read the title, the first thing that came into my mind was the thought that crossed was, what am I? Am I a safe thinker or am I an unsafe thinker? And I figured that I want to be safe. We all love safety. But then you have a book dedicated to unsafe thinking. There are 6 parts to the book. The first part starts with courage, where Jonah takes you through the safe thinking cycle. And he talks about fear as a fuel. Fear, anxiety, they're all sometimes impediments for people. But if you recognize that there's a fear, you recognize that there is an anxiety, they can actually be fuel to your creativity. Part 2 is about motivation, about mastering motivation. He talks about finding a source of motivation. And he talks about challenges, how we should start liking or loving difficult challenges. Challenges are always tough. Many people deal with challenges differently. One of the way how I deal with challenges is that I typically like to take 30-day challenges. When I take something on a 30-day challenge, I know that it's going to end. If it is too tough for me, I know just push it for 30 days and it's done. And what I've found is that I've done a lot of 30-day challenges in my life. And many of them I've stopped after the 30 days. I couldn't take it more. But there are also some challenges that have become part of my life, that I've taken into my life as a habit. And I think that is the best way I try. If I want to try something new, if I want to try something that is difficult, I try it out for 30 days. And sometimes it just sticks. So the whole thing about learning to love difficult challenges. Part 3 is about learning. He talks about the explorer's edge. When you pursue expertise, he says that don't get locked up in the expert's ego. Because you need to, instead of being an expert, try to become an explorer, to continue learning. Don't end it. And we all know that learning never ends. You continuously learn one thing or the other thing, right? Part 4 is about flexibility. And I don't have to tell you how important flexibility is, right? Because in the current, whether it is work or life, problems are thrown at you, problems of different sizes, different types. And you cannot have the same kind of thinking to solve all the problems. You have to have a flexibility in your thoughts, you have to have a flexibility in your actions. And sometimes you should be able to look at unconventional solutions to a problem in order to solve it. Because our conventional way of thinking, way of problem solving, or way of even predicting what the solution could be might go wrong. So you need to have that unconventional way of finding a solution, or looking at a solution, or imagining a solution. Part 5 is about morality. When wrong is right, when we need to break rules at times, when we need to break rules in a wise manner, when we need to disobey wisely, when we need to break our own rules. And the whole concept of morality around breaking rules in an unsafe thinking world. Finally, he ends with leadership. And he talks about countering conformity and why it is important to make it safe for unsafe thinking. People don't think unsafe because they fear what the result is going to be. If you have an environment within the organization, within the team, that promotes, that makes it safe for people to think unsafe, then there's a possibility that people will be more creative. People will start looking at problems in a whole different way, and you would have a whole set of new solutions that emerge. Unsafe Thinking by Jonah Sachs. I want to read the last paragraph, which is always how I end the book review. By adopting a new internal role model, by striving to live up to my own personal image of an unsafe thinker, I was able to take the next necessary step in my creative evolution, a step I had once believed I could never take. I hope unsafe thinking will allow you, in your own way, to do the same. Safe thinking tells us no, tells us don't. And unsafe thinking tells us that there are possibilities, there are opportunities, there are other ways in which you can move forward. Friends, Unsafe Thinking by Jonah Sachs. Pick it up, read it, and think unsafe and live creative.